Hey everybody, it is Elise and it is Wednesday, which means that it's Facebook Live Wednesday. And I am here on StreamYard. Just give me a second to make sure that we are happy in on Facebook. So hang on there. We are, so that's great. So thank you for joining me. Today is Wednesday, and as you know, every Wednesday I am here to do a Facebook Live for you y'all. And today we have a very special guest. Let me get my notes up so I don't sound like a complete idiot. One moment, please. Okay, if you are new to the group, first of all, I want to welcome you. And just to let you know that I'm here every Wednesday at noon Pacific time to do a Facebook Live. I might pop in throughout the work week, but I'm always here on Wednesdays at noon. I do interviews like the one we're going to do today with Fabienne. I do spot coaching sessions, which you can always sign up for. I do trainings. It's a mixed bag, but I really love doing this because we can be in dialogue together and you can see me, but also I get a chance to hear from you. So I'm here every Wednesday for that. Just for background, we are streaming this from StreamYard. I don't know if you know that platform, but I don't do Facebook Lives from Facebook because it kicks me out and it misbehaves and I hate it. So we're coming to you from StreamYard. And what that means is when you put a comment in the comment section, it just shows up to us as Facebook user. I don't know who you are. It's your name, then we know who we're talking with. We're not talking at you. So please do that. That would be lovely. If you're watching the replay, we will circle back and respond to any comments or questions that you have. So don't feel like you're missing out if you couldn't miss us make it live. So many people can't make these events at this particular time of day. So I'm always delighted to have people come back and listen. So hopefully that will be you if you're on a replay person. So I see Nalisha. Oh, Nalisha, yay, I haven't seen you in a while. Hallie, hi, so glad you're here. Yay, yay, yay. So, and if you are here and you haven't dropped a comment in, just say hi so I know who you are and we can talk directly to you and with you. So as always, I'm going to introduce Fab in just a second, but as always, this is a dialogue, y'all. So I want you to be dropping in comments. Make sure that you ask questions of Fab because she's got so much wonderful material to share with you today. And as we said when we were chatting a little bit before, I'm not going to do a real interview. I'm just going to let Fab talk because she has so much wonderful, she has so much great material to share with us. And I'll pop in with a little comment here and there. But this is really her show, and I just wanted to share her with you. Someone popped in that says Facebook user. So tell me who you are so I know who's talking to us. Again, we're on StreamYard, you guys, and I want to make sure that we know who is here. So come back, Facebook user, and tell me who you are. So let me introduce the fabulous Fab. So the topic today is, she calls the Book of Lies, how your subconscious is sabotaging your success and what to do about it. So this is Fabienne Slama or Slama? Fab?
Slama.
AKA Fab, which I call her, and founder and owner of Fabulicious. Fab is a Renaissance woman, and she truly is. She's part scientist, biochemist, and part artist, internationally collected bronze sculptor, and part spiritual, a self-described unicorn. I love it. She's also the queen of resilience. After getting a divorce from a 20-year marriage, most of those spent raising her two boys, Fab reinvented herself from the ground up. And in less than 3 years, and in the process, she became an entrepreneur and a healer, creating her company Fabulicious, and grew it from 0 to 6 figures, published 3 books, and helped over 1,000 clients go from stuck to unstoppable. So today she focuses on helping women remember the fabulous, limitless, confident sparkle of joy that they are so they can manifest success at home and at work. Fabulous, so fabulous. So Fab, I'm excited because the topic we're going to be talking about a lot about self-sabotage. And this is an area that cripples a lot of us. I think we frequently don't know that we're doing it. These are underlying either beliefs, and you're going to talk more about the things that are both in the unconscious and not in the unconscious. So you're going to talk about many areas that this self-sabotaging theme can come up to influence our life and our business. So tell us what you mean by all that.
Wow. Okay, before we jump in, I want to thank you for having me here, Liz. Thank you for everybody who is watching this Facebook live or as a replay. It's always exciting to share what I'm doing. Self-sabotage. I think that's the plague of every entrepreneur. We do great. We climb, we're excited, and suddenly it's like, we fall. And it's like, what did I do wrong? And it's nothing that you did wrong. It's nothing that actually you did. It's this part of you who tells you you're not ready yet, or this part of you who is blocking you, or this part of you who say, hey, to be more successful as a 6-figure entrepreneur, if you want to go to 7-figure, you have to be more visible, you have to be more daring. And there's this part of you who say, yes, you want that, but is it really safe, or do you think you deserve that? And consciously, your brain is like, absolutely, I want to be successful. Absolutely, I want to be as amazing as I know I can be. All your friends tell you how amazing you are, and you hear it, and you're like, okay, they believe in me. I believe in myself. And then suddenly it's like, oh, I believe in myself, but not so much. Or they tell me how amazing I am, but I don't know if it's really the truth. Or I have went to a certain level, but no, I'm stuck.
Fab, I'm going to just pop in every now and then because I can't help myself. I talk about stuck stories a lot, where we tell ourselves, and again, it might be on a very unconscious level, we tell ourselves stories that we believe are true, right? Yes. When they're just stories. But these create a ceiling that keep us from going to that next level.
Exactly. I heard you talk about stuck story, and I totally love the expression you use. It feels so right. Those stuck stories, consciously, you might have an idea of where they come from. Sometimes they are what you think they are. Let me give you an example. I had this client, therapist, CBT therapy, talk therapy, 23 years of experience, brilliant. Only attracted client who couldn't pay her.
Oh, and again, not unusual, right?
Not unusual. She was making between $5,000–7,000 a month. Not bad, but in Bay Area, go survive on this type of salary. There's no way. She was barely making it.
Right.
Ask her what was a belief. She was like, I want to be rich. I want to have money. I said, close your eyes and just make this statement. I deserve to make this amount of money. And she couldn't even articulate the words.
Oh, interesting.
So we follow this statement, this part of her body that's saying, I don't deserve to have this money, or I'm blocked. And it took her back to when she was a 4-year-old kid hiding under the kitchen table while her parents were fighting about money, like they were fighting about money all the time. And her dad was talking about those, excuse my French, ass bleep or bleep old people who were really rich, making all this money, and who were, in his mind, bad people.
So this is my dad. This is what came up for me. My dad, out of insecurity and probably jealousy, he painted the picture of people with money as being deviants or there's something wrong with them or, they're less than. And
Exactly.
whether I knew it or not, I grew up with that
And when you
understanding.
grew up with that, as a 4-year-old, she wanted to please her daddy. She loved her dad and she believed him. But she developed this truth. Dad say that, therefore it's true.
Hmm.
And it blocked her.
Right.
So what I did, took her back to that time, rewrote the story with her through dialogue with dad. I work on usually with my clients, just under the level of consciousness. Once there was this dialogue that was established, this new belief, this new truth that was established, the next month she made $10,000. The following one, 15. 2 years later, she was able to buy her house in San Francisco.
Wow.
It can go fast. That's for the obvious one. No, sometimes it's not that obvious. Sometimes you think it's because of, I remember, it's because parents told you that money doesn't go on tree, or that you're not capable, or that you're not worthy. And sometimes the trauma is not that. So when you go to the obvious, maybe you're going to find the doorway. Sometime it's actually being limited by something that you never thought was a big dramatic event. I'm gonna give you an example.
Yeah, lots of examples. I want to hear more.
That's usually the best. I wonder sometimes why personally I had a hard time developing group program. I was okay, maybe it's because a lot of trauma in my family around being a girl, la, la, la. And when I went under the unconscious, finding why it was simply because when I was a kid, I changed school every single year because my parents were moving all the time. And I had a hard time making friends and getting along with other kids. Part of it was because I was 2 years ahead of everyone and I was the weird one who was a little bit bullied. And so nowadays, as I try to build my business in front of groups, it's like, is it safe? And yes, it sabotaged me until I discovered that was a problem. Once I addressed the problem, it's not there. And it was not the most obvious reason because it didn't seem so big. I dismissed it at first.
Mm-hmm.
But the pain that you experience as a 2-year-old, as a 3-year-old, as a 5-year-old can seem minor, but at the same time can be very big in your psyche as a kid.
Other things, in fact, maybe you're going to get to this, but
yeah,
other things that come up or have come up for me is almost ancestral, where there are family stories, right? Uncle Joe and, great grandpa so-and-so behavior that even though I wasn't in great grandpa so-and-so's presence, that mythology wove its way into my being as a little kid because that was just part of the family story.
Absolutely.
And so this has come up in my family a lot where I won't go into details, but anyway, so this kind of thing.
But it is actually, yes. So basically this book of truths, those truths that you developed in your life, you build it in your childhood, in the formative years, from 0 to, let's say, 10. It's come from traumatic event in your family. It comes from traumatic event in your childhood with other kids, so on and so forth. But it's also comes from your ancestor. Actually, right now, yesterday, I had a discussion with an epigenetic company, and we are going to build study to show that your DNA gets methylated, having hydrogen on it, a different spot because of trauma in your past.
Wow. So it changes your DNA?
Yeah. Excuse me?
It changes your DNA?
It changes your DNA.
Wow.
It actually literally changes your DNA. That's where I come back to my passion. I have a PhD in biochemistry, a master in molecular biology. That was my first love. went through art
Wow.
and into this journey. So right now I'm putting back together and I'm working with a lab to actually prove scientifically that those traumatic events change your DNA. They can change your DNA, therefore they can be transmitted to next generation.
Yes.
So once again, your love story, I'm gonna tell you one. One of my clients at the beginning of the pandemic, absolute panic. She had a job. She had a big house. She was apparently safe. But the panic she experienced at the beginning of the pandemic last year was so much she couldn't get out of the house. She couldn't see her client. She was awful panic. And
Wow.
I was like, okay, it's disproportionate. I understand it's scary. I understand there's a virus, you can die, but that's way too much.
What's going on here? Yeah.
We went back and actually her great grandma was in Europe during the Spanish pandemic.
Oh.
And the Spanish influenza, 1918.
Right.
There was a lot of story about how grandpa died from the pandemic, how great-grandma had to fly the country with 11 kids under her arms to rebuild her life in the United States, how traumatic it was. Well, long story short, nowadays, she's not in this type of situation. She
Right.
doesn't have this type of danger. She doesn't live in poverty, but she carries this trauma that tells her, hide, you're in terrible danger. You're gonna
Hide. Yeah. Wow.
Didn't influence her business? Absolutely, because hiding, you cannot be visible. If you're not
Right.
visible, here we go. You don't have clients. So basically, this book of truth come from your childhood, but also come from your genes. It can be 1 generation, 2 generation, 5 generation, 7 generation.
Wow.
And when you change your story, what is weird is you change also the trauma on the generation before you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'm going to give you, once again, a personal example. My great-grandmother was married at age 14 because she was poor to a man who was 60 years old. She was forced into marriage, a lot of pain around that. My mom comes from that generation of women who have been abused, was given at birth because she was a girl. So we have a generation, great-grandma, grandma, mom, all of that, a lot of trauma, a lot of you're not capable, you're not worthy because you're a girl, la, 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 come all the way to me. I work on that by going back through the generation, heal the trauma at the level of mom, but I feel that it's not there yet.
Right.
Have mom face grandma and great-grandma, and we go all the way to a part that I didn't even know about, which was this woman escaping Syria. And I was, where does this come from? Just imagination, seeing this huge thing. We heal the trauma there. Feel the energy coming back all the way to me. The next day, I manifest 2 clients in a day for no reason. I'm like, what is going on? I'm on fire. Everything is amazing. But on top of that, I have my mom who call me out of the blues and say at the end of a conversation, Fabienne, did I ever tell you how proud I am of you?
Oh.
In 50 years? No, but it's good to hear.
Wow. This is because your energy shifted given the work you did on all those voices from before.
It shifted, and I can send, actually I can put in a comment box of this Zoom. I have client last week 2 weeks ago, I have this client who haven't talked to his dad for years. And suddenly dad calls him apologizing for the way he treated him when he was a teenager, out of the blues.
Yeah.
Just from intergenerational healing.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
you may say, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with your business. But yes, because if you're in your family, there's something that tells you women are not meant to be seen, or women are not valuable, or women cannot be successful unless there's a man around her. Or if there's a belief that when you make money, you're going to be killed or mugged or whatever because it's happened to great Uncle Joe. If you don't heal this trauma,
Yeah.
you're going to carry it in your energy.
Yeah.
And it's going to prevent you from going to the next level because
Yeah.
you don't want to be killed like Grand Uncle Joe.
So, Fab, tell me about the kinds of work that you do, how you get to these stories, or even the ones that are at the DNA level. How do you get to them, and then how do you work through them with the client?
So consciously, when we talk, when I start with a client, usually they have a story and they tell me the story with their eyes open because it's logical and it's there in the prefrontal cortex. It's beautifully packaged and all of that. The first thing I say, okay, forget about it, close your eyes. It's not about the obvious. And I ask my client to follow a feeling. Let's say, let's take again the example of this first client I was telling you about. I deserve to make a lot of money, or I want to be successful. And they make this statement, and there's this tension in their body telling them, yes, but no. And honestly, it's unconscious, it's subconscious. I work with a lot of women who are in abusive situation. Nobody comes to me saying, I want to be abused in my marriage. I work with a lot of women who are limiting themselves consciously. They don't want that. There's something inside of them telling them it's not
other than that. Yeah.
other than that.
Yeah.
And the way those stories are expressing themselves usually is with this knot in the stomach. You feel when you're about to start something and you're in fear. It's this migraine that might come up because your brain is trying to create story, and you procrastinate and you do all these things to block you. It comes into with a tension in your back.
So you don't know what's happening, but it's manifesting itself in your body.
It's manifesting itself in your body.
Yeah.
And we follow the body sensation. And the body sensation is a voice of your cells. And the voice of your cell contains this message.
Oh, wow.
So usually it's going down the rabbit hole. The first layer going to be, okay, pretty close to the consciousness, and then we go to the next feeling and the next feeling until suddenly it has nothing to do with what they were talking about apparently, but it has everything to do with how Uncle Joe got mugged because he had a lot of money in his pocket.
Right.
And we address that, and we literally rewrite the story and rewrite the DNA.
That's so interesting. So I know that in my family, there has been a feeling of scarcity around money forever, right? Money scarcity. And I know that it goes back, I can't even tell you the number of generations, right? Holocaust survivors, even before that, right? And so that energy, and as you say, probably in the DNA, has come from way back. And it's just amazing to me. The more my brother recently did
23andMe.
Yeah. And so to discover who our ancestors were, who also come from backgrounds of scarcity, and how that's permeated all throughout, it's just staggering. And so when you start to deal with the top surface layers and you wonder why you're not getting further, I guess it comes down to that. It's fascinating.
It does. And I told you about my story coming all the way back to Syria.
Yeah.
I had this image that was really weird. Where does this come from? A month later, I do my 23andMe and I see that my ancestry come from Syria.
Oh, interesting. You didn't even know that.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow. You guys, I can't tell who's on here right now. Does anybody have any questions for Fab? Because we're talking away here, but if you have questions, drop them in the comments and Fab can see them and answer your questions.
Yes.
And you didn't even know that you had Syrian background then?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
That's amazing.
So that's the thing is your cell have a memory.
Yeah.
And this memory is meant to do what human and any cell organism is supposed to do. It's to keep you safe.
Yes, right.
So if this keeping yourself works with hiding, preventing you from having money, or if what is familiar, you say you have a whole history around scarcity. This history is what is known. It's what you're familiar with. And the only thing that human body and any organism doesn't like is change and unknown. So you're going to try to be in this safety zone of what you know. You have survived a scarcity. Look at that. All those generations have survived are here today.
Right.
So, okay, proof is even that you may not have a lot of money, you survived. Now we have to create another option, which is survive with a lot of money.
You're right. So as you say, rewrite that story.
Yes.
Right. So we have a Facebook user here who says, can you reverse the hurtful DNA?
Can you what? Sorry?
Reverse the hurtful DNA.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yes,
by rewriting this. So what do you mean by rewriting the stories?
Okay. It's literally going back to the first event that created the trauma. And either looking at it from a different angle, like 4-year-old dad saying rich people are bad people, you can reframe it like coaching language and say, that's what dad thought. I don't believe that. But okay, let me get another example. Client who who is a coach and is limiting himself because he thinks he's not good enough. Go back to father criticizing me, criticizing him, going back to grandfather, going back generation back to an ancestor that apparently was a maid of a samurai.
Wow.
Oh, I have fun in my job because I never know where we're going to travel to.
Wow, wow.
Okay. We have this maid of the samurai talk to her parents because she thought that if she was becoming rich and abundant like the samurai family, she will lose the contact and the love of her parents who stay poor in the village. Okay. Weird story, but that's what the story was. So she has a conversation generation back with parents say, no, we will love you no matter what. We want you to be abundant and successful. The story comes back to the grandfather who suddenly recognized that he wants more for his kid. Talk to the dad, talk to the client, the energy rewrite. So it's literally a rewriting of the story. Does it change the DNA? It doesn't change your DNA. It changes the markers in your DNA. So DNA fold in different has different fold that makes the DNA red a certain way. And some genes are expressed because of that, and some are not expressed because they are hiding in the fold.
Oh,
So
interesting.
by doing this type of work, you actually change the fold. So the DNA is read differently. And what does it create? Better health, physically and mentally. I had a client who came with me with a cyst. Within the session, the cyst disappeared.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's quite amazing,
Yeah.
but it impacts your health.
Yeah.
It impacts your mental health.
Yeah.
It impacts your confidence.
Right.
And
Right.
literally it changes you. So yes, that's always fun. I'm very curious.
Wow.
I love this.
And we're almost out of time. If
Yeah.
someone wants to contact you, how, I mean, you're in the group, so they can contact you in the group, but
Yeah.
also how else can they get in touch with you?
Okay, they can always go to my website, which is www.fabulicious.com.
Okay. And I'll drop these all in the notes above
And
the video.
they can email me, fab@fabulicious.com.
Great.
And
Good, good,
I'm going
good.
to put in the comment box, actually, I would be so happy to offer any one of your viewer 30 minutes that I call your get unstuck discovery time to really identify what is keeping you stuck. What is this book of truth that is actually lying to you?
Guys, do this. I have an appointment already with Fab to do
Yes.
this. I can't wait to see, because I think I know what's going on. I'll bet you find out more than I do.
Let's see.
So,
You will
yeah.
know. And that's by going beyond the obvious.
Yes,
And
right.
sometimes the obvious is the truth, but sometimes it's not.
Sometimes there's more. I feel like there's more with me. So anyway, so guys, I will drop all that in the description above the video as soon as I file this video. Fab, anything else you want to tell our lovely people?
That I love them, and that they should definitely not let this story block them, because it's so easy to change it. It goes fast. It goes fast.
Oh,
Way
fabulous.
faster than you can imagine.
Fabulous.
So
I can't wait. Good, good. Thank you so much, Fab, for being here. You guys who are live with me today, thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.